r/AskReddit, nsfw, what is one socially unacceptable fact about yourself? I pick my nose relentlessly. I can never tell if I am a lazy person or depressed. I talk to myself as if people were listening even when I'm alone. I definitely do not know at what point expressing my desire to talk to someone crosses from reaching out in a friendly way into annoying and impinging. And I worry about it. Edit, it is weirdly reassuring to see how many others feel similarly. When I worked in a human transplant tissue lab, I would talk to the deceased donors to make myself feel better about processing a person who died suddenly hours before. Like, hey MRS. Bird, how are we feeling today? When she is obviously lying in pieces in a cooler about to be swabbed, irradiated, and transplanted in another human. I feel like I'm constantly analyzing how to interact with people. Every conversation I have feels like a performance and not the real me, like I'm just mimicking other conversations I've read or heard. I have no real desire to do anything extraordinary with my life. I just want to have my own little corner in the world, and not be bothered by anyone. Or bother anyone. Add on, wow, this blew up. Thanks guys, smiling face with smiling eyes. Edit, wow, woke up this morning to all the comments and rewards. Thank you lovely internet strangers for making me feel a little less weird for a day. Y'all are wonderful. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing most of the time. Respectfully. I have no ambition to do anything. No dream job or passions either. I'm not depressed by any stretch, but I just would be happy and fine if all I did was lay around all day and live off saved money. However, most people are utterly disgusted by that, so I lie and pretend I have a dream job or that I'm passionate about certain things. I honestly only really do any of those things for money or to pass the time. I don't care about any of them. I have never been in an emotionally deep and mutually trusting relationship. I want to be, but I've never met someone who felt the same way. I'm very introverted, and one poor relationship experience left me reeling for the better part of a decade. When I'm out in public, I sometimes put my earbuds in just to listen to what other people are saying around me, nothing playing on my end. Edit, didn't really expect this one to get noticed, and thank you for the award. I met my wife at her wedding. Edit, holy shit, that blew up. Rip my inbox. I posted this just before going to bed last night, sorry to leave you all hanging. I guess it's story time. My ex-wife and I went to one of her friends/co-workers' wedding about 10 years ago. Let's call the friend Sarah. I had never met Sarah before. Over the years we kind of became friends, but not particularly close. She'd come over to take care of our son once in a while when I was working nights and my ex had something going on. We went camping with her and her husband a few times. I even went to the movies with her husband once or twice. Sarah and I always got along really well. We had very similar taste in music, very similar sarcastic senses of humor. Well, things started getting really shitty between my wife and I, and eventually she left me. Sarah kind of acted like a buffer between us because things were tense and we still had a child to consider. This led to Sarah and I starting to have long conversations about pretty personal stuff. Little did I know her marriage was in trouble too. Her husband, let's call him Dave, had essentially forced her into an open relationship that she didn't want. She'd agreed to try it because she didn't want to give up on it, but by this point she'd had enough. I even called Dave and told him to sort his shit out and stop doing this to Sarah. He did not, and eventually Sarah left him. Through all of this, she and I kept talking, almost like a kind of therapy. We were both going through really difficult things, and being there for each other really helped get both of us through. My ex, Sarah, and some of my ex's other friends were up at a cottage for a girls' weekend, and on the Saturday night I get a text from Sarah saying she's leaving because my ex had outed her for some very personal stuff in front of the other people there who she didn't even know that well. Her plan was to sleep in her car and drive home in the morning. I was living between the cottage and where she lived and was worried about her, so I told her to come crash at my place for the night, which she did. Nothing happened. After that we started hanging out more frequently and really started to become attracted to each other. Sarah had told me before this that she had feelings for me. I had still been trying to make things work with my ex and had told Sarah that we couldn't because it would devastate her. By the time all this happened, I'd started dating a little bit and had given up on working things out. I also wasn't very concerned about how my ex would react anymore because she'd been pretty horrible to both of us for quite a while now. One thing led to another, and one night we just said fuck it. And that was that. We've been together about 5 years now, have a kid and couldn't be happier. I never just have a few beers if I have one. I can go for weeks without talking to anyone. I have no need to talk. I'd make a great Tao of Silence monk. I have fake conversations with people I know in my head that result in me argumenting loudly to no one. I daydream way too much. I'm constantly daydreaming. At home, at work, while I'm driving, before I'm sleeping, while I'm eating. I'm always daydreaming. Edit, I was not expecting this to blow up as much as it has. I'm really glad to know that I'm not the only one. I'll try to reply to everyone individually. Sometimes I like having fake phone conversations. Sometimes because I just need to talk through a problem or plan something out loud but my mom isn't picking up the phone. Sometimes for my own entertainment, trying to get people to eavesdrop. I am a grown man who likes to play with action figures, and yes, I do make the noises to pretend they're fighting. It's my hobby, it relaxes me, and yet I rarely tell people because they look at me like I'm a child. Why should we lose our sense of wonder as we grow? I have an incredibly hard time talking to people I don't know. I don't want to work. I just want to live in a grassy field and eat fruit. I'd rather be naked about 80% of the time. I will do nothing but sleep and eat all day if I could. I typically do not masturbate for pleasure. I usually do it just to make myself tired enough to fall asleep. Can't stand brushing my teeth. I do it but hate it. Edit, kinda sad. The highest upvoted comment I have is about hating brushing my teeth, lol. Please brush your teeth, folks. My moms are falling out because of her poor hygiene when she was younger. I can't do groceries by myself, always have to call a homie to come with me. I can do anything publicly, but I don't know WTF it is about grocery stores. I need someone to hold my hand or else I am dipping without any groceries. It might sound ridiculous, but I was born a left-handed person. It was unacceptable in our family and I was forced to eat and write with my right hand. Now, I can write with both but much faster and neater with my right hand. In my dreams, I still write and eat with my left hand. Edit, additional information. I was born in Feb 1982. In India. Studied in a Catholic school, a Jesuit school to be precise. So Christian, Italian, beliefs. Yes, I started eating with my left hand again as I use my right hand to wash and wipe my rear. Couldn't wash with my left. Edit 2, thank you everyone. I would rather sleep than talk to another person like, all the time. Long one here. I dumpster dive and find perfectly good fruit at the grocery store. I don't eat them but turn it into cider or distill it to something stronger. When I go to a group event or party, I just bring a 10+ gallons of whatever to the party as my contribution to the group. I've given many people at least 200 gallons of alcohol to mix drinks for their wedding or events. All for free. The thing is, I don't drink. Don't drink at all. Edit. Fixing some confusing wording. Thanks. I don't think this is impressive at all, as I think anyone can make alcohol/cider. I hate kids and am a teacher. I'm a high school teacher and I enjoy teaching teenagers, but can't stand kids under the age of 11. I am faking everything. Literally. I could not care less about anything. But I fake it all. I've always struggled with sweaty hands and feet since I was a small child. In formal settings I enjoy the option of wearing opera gloves. People think I'm being fancy. Nah brah, I'm just hiding that I have to shake 9,000 hands at this event tonight and I don't want to have to keep wiping them on my dress. I have bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. No matter how much people scream mental health matters on their social media pages, the stigma is very much still there. Edit. I wish I could go through and like every single one of your comments. Just know that I see you, I hear you, I recognize you and your struggles, I appreciate you, and I wish you all the best. Also please seek help when you feel like you need it. There are so many professionals out there who I promise will listen. I had 2 kids by the age of 18 in a heavily Mennonite Christian area nicknamed the Bible Belt in southern Canada. I pee in the shower and I'm not ashamed. I hate showering. I do it every day but I hate it. I don't talk to anyone other than close relative, not even friends. I think being a stay-at-home dad would be great. I hope I can be. I'm suicidal. Passively, meaning I'm not making any plans. I'm safe and this is a constant for me. It feels like I can't tell my friends except in asking for help. I just want this to be something I can tell people because it's so significant in my inner world. Edit. I am getting professional help. I've been in therapy and medicated for a while. Thanks for all your concern. I'm sorry I didn't say that in the original comment. I don't have any hobbies. I just don't have anything special I do to be entertained or something that makes me super interesting. People just question me what the hell I do all day without anything like that. It's not a good look somehow. If offered, I would probably indulge in a drug and prostitute-fueled orgy. I think my family are a bunch of self-involved manipulating assholes and if they didn't talk to me again, it might make my life easier. I prefer being alone/away from others. My father was not a very engaged parent, but when school started trying to force me to be right-handed, he went to the school for the first and only time. He told them the boy is left-handed, let him be, and they did. As a woman, I do not want kids. I also think people should be able to choose voluntary euthanasia so they don't have to suffer if they don't want to, generally not for mental health problems but for physical ones. Also, I don't follow rules because this post said one thing and I said 3 things, so there. I support my husband not working. Come at me, brothers. I think I'm autistic but I'm not diagnosed. I've been reading a ton of studies on ASD presentation in adults but I almost feel embarrassed doing so without a diagnosis. The uncontrollable urge to discuss rats during sexual intercourse. It started off as a joke but now the thoughts are pretty intrusive. I absolutely hate driving. It's hard to find a decent job when there's nothing good around, and the thought of driving further than 10 minutes away makes me want to jump off a bridge. Edit. Glad I'm not the only one who feels this way. Thanks for all the upvotes. That's my first time past 1K. I'm a reasonably attractive, goal-driven woman in my 20s and I have genital herpes. Right before the first pandemic shutdown I was raped at a concert and got it as a result. I've healed a lot from what happened and have very much come to terms with it and I accept it's a part of who I am, but yeah, generally the perspective on STDs sucks and people are quick to joke about them/judge people who have them when in reality these things can happen to just about anyone. Edit. I made this post right before bed last night and woke up to so much kindness from you lovely people. Thank you for the reassurance and encouragement. Appreciation doesn't begin to cover how I feel right now. The anniversary of when everything happened is coming up in a few weeks, so naturally this has been on my mind a bit more. You've all made me feel a lot less alone and have given me a more positive outlook. Thank you so much. I'm fat. I think babies are obnoxious shit machines. I am really good at relating to everybody, and then they say or do something I don't like and I ghost. It doesn't even have to be anything that serious. I just peace out. Someone said I just don't like people, but I'm sure it's deeper than that. I have spent unhealthy amounts of time imagining how radically different my life would be if I didn't mess up big time. I read fanfiction constantly. Like, a lot of fanfiction. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed this video and subscribe to never miss an upload.